A lot of times when people hear this, they get scared in a sense, thinking, what if I mess up? What if I do this wrong? And I will say, better a mule than no church at all. Sometimes I'll refer to a church that reproduces as a horse and one that doesn't reproduce as a mule, because mules, of course, are hybrids, cross between a donkey and a horse. So they're sterile. But a mule is still a victory. It's still a trophy of God's grace. It's still an outpost of the kingdom. It's still a light on a hill. The point is, though, that we don't become satisfied with that. But once we plant a mule, we try again. And then we try again. We get a better mule. And hopefully, eventually, we're able to start a horse church, one that reproduces. Wayne Gretzky is arguably the best ice hockey player that ever lived. He wasn't big, fast, strong, but he holds all of the scoring records. And one time someone asked him, what's the secret to your success? And he told them, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. Now that may be a little oversimplified, but there's a lot of truth to that. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. So I would far rather that we go out and fail, even repeatedly, than to do nothing at all. The situation of the kingdom is important enough that it's worth failing at. People often say anything worth doing is worth doing well. I think it's different. I think anything worth doing is worth doing poorly, is worth failing at. In other words, better to fail at doing something important than to do nothing. So one time I trained a guy. His target ministry-wise was unbelievably large. He wanted to, in effect, reach all of Indonesia. 1,000 islands, hundreds of people groups. And after he went through a full training, he said, Curtis, I'm scared. What if I do something wrong? Think of the eternal destiny of all of those people. And I said to him, Mark, what could you possibly do that will make things worse than they are? Right now, there are 240 million Muslims going to hell from Indonesia. How are you going to make that worse? The status quo is not acceptable. I hope that you are not satisfied with the way things are. I hope that we can labor together to extend God's kingdom, to multiply disciples, to multiply simple churches until the knowledge of the glory of the Lord fills the earth as the waters cover the sea.